For a few days in August 2025, I was on holiday in Auckland, one of 9 cities in New Zealand that got a tram system back in the day. Even though the original tram lines closed in December 1956, the subsequent construction of 2 heritage lines means that it's still possible to go for a tram ride in Auckland, either in Wynyard Quarter or out at the Museum of Transport and Technology. This video will feature both systems. We start at the Wynyard Quarter line, also known as the Auckland Dockline Tram, on the morning of Sunday the 17th, when dear-old X1 number 466, not to be confused with the Class 466 networker, was in operation. I got there aboard a CRRC ES12 Max, a type of battery electric bus used on the CityLink service. If you ask me, I think it's quite appropriate to catch a red bus to go and see a red tram, although the CRRC things have the worst seats I've ever experienced on a bus. The Dockline Tram is open every Sunday from 10 AM to 4 PM, and the tickets cost $4 for adults and $2 for children. It's free of charge for gold card holders and children under 5. The tickets are essentially a day pass, so you can stay on the tram for as long as you like or hop on and hop off at any of the 4 stops along the 1,500 metre long track. As the tram goes along, the driver gives a live commentary with information about Wynyard Quarter and its history.
So just coming up on our right hand side we have a laneway that links Halsey Street, we're travelling on with Beaumont Street. It's called Tramorama Way, just here on the right hand side. And if you do walk down the laneway you'll see some dots of sandblasting on the pavement. I would not recommend counting them because there's 480,000 of them, and they're actually to represent the Waitara shoreline.
I initially hopped off at Gaunt Street in an effort to film some buses coming and going from their depot. As you'll see throughout the rest of this video, Auckland's weather was very inconsistent on the 17th of August. Even so, I still saw a decent amount of people coming along to ride the X1 while I was in Wynyard Quarter, but at one point, I was the only passenger. In the end, I lost count of the amount of times I rode around the loop that morning, and considering the sheer amount of times when the Wynyard Quarter line was shafted by tiresome roadworks or other construction projects, I'm happy to see that it's still running as of August 2025. Although I'm not involved with the tram's operations in any way, it was still good to see other passengers enjoying the ride, not to mention all the people who watched the tram pass by from the street and took photographs on their phones.
So she is 99 years old. And for a 99-year-old girl, she goes really well. Also 99 years old, the wharf shed on our left. Used to store wool before export. So it's a heritage listed building, but now it's been turned into the Wynyard Pavilion restaurant. So next year, the tram and the restaurant can celebrate their 100th birthday together. I'm going slowly because of the wet track today. It is what we call Art Deco in style. And Art Deco is not as decorative as earlier trams, which were what we call Art Nouveau, but she's more decorative than the other 1940s tram that we've got. One of the key features of Art Deco trams is their beautiful woodwork. You can see this all around the windows and doors. Look up into the ceiling and you can see the beautiful woodwork in there and the way it's fitted so cleverly into the ceiling. This tram's a little bit unusual in that she has one truck. The correct term is bogie underneath her. So this means that she rocks and rolls on the corners because there's a fair bit of tram sticking out before and behind that bogie. Right, so be ready to rock and roll, and then we do a little lurch into the stop.
After a good couple of hours in Wynyard Quarter, I went out to MOTAT, where I found that, much to my frustration, the rain had set in again. On the plus side, Wellington Double Saloon Tram number 135 was in operation, so I went for a ride along the line to MOTAT too. I soon realised that it wasn't a good idea to sit in 135's open-sided middle compartment in such poor weather. The shelter at the MOTAT 2 tram terminus is very small, and my camera has already been through the wars enough times as it is, so I initially stayed under the shelter while I decided what to do from this point forward. As the 17th of August was one of MOTAT's live days, 2 steam locomotives were running on the Western Springs Railway. But I had arrived at the museum really late in the day, so I thought it wasn't worth paying the $19 for admission when I'd only have 1 hour on the railway. As an alternative, I just filmed Y542 and L507 through the fence on Miola Road. As a bonus, I went back to MOTAT the next day, Monday the 18th, and got some more footage of 2 ex-Melbourne SW6 trams, numbers 893 and 906. Ironically, I've now got more footage of the preserved Melbourne trams in Auckland and Christchurch than what I've got from their home city across the ditch. This concludes my most recent look at the heritage trams running in Auckland, New Zealand. It's just a shame that the weather was so inconsistent on Sunday. Even so, I highly recommend going for a tram ride at MOTAT or Wynyard Quarter yourself, regardless of whether you live in Auckland or, like me, you're visiting from out of town.